Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to Devlog number 39 for Sea-Beams, a spaceship game that I'm building in Unreal Engine 5 with my buddy Rich and now a decently sized community team. We have been hard at work cramming tons of features into the game to get ready for an internal demo, which means I have tons of cool stuff to show you today, like our new tutorial system, the beginnings of a complete VFX overhaul, a new targeting system that Rich has been working on, new AI logic, a new settings menu finally that lets us change all the graphics settings while we're in game. We've got some new smart music from Peter that sounds amazing, and of course we have tons of new spaceships to talk about. Let's dive into it. There is a lot to go over. Also, if you're interested in playing Sea-Beams, make sure to wishlist it on Steam so you don't miss any sort of demo or game release announcement. So I want to talk about our new ships, but you're going to see the new VFX work as soon as I do. So let's talk about the VFX stuff first. We've got a new guy on the team. He's kind of consulted with us in the past. It's Will Jeanette, and he's basically redoing all of our thruster VFX right now, bullet firing VFX, explosion VFX. He's just gotten into it. He probably doesn't want me calling this his final work because we're very much just starting to play around with a lot of the stuff, but if you've been watching our devlogs for a while, you'll notice that the rocket engine VFX and thrusters look quite different. The thrusters have a much more gaseous look to them now, where they're venting actual gases into space. The rocket engines have a really nice gradient fall off now. We've scaled them up to be bigger. When you engage your thruster boost, there's now a nice little blue flame that comes out of it to help signify the boost. We're just kind of punching up the VFX, and Will is making the game look so much better right now. He also just started reworking some of our basic ship explosion logic. None of them are sized properly yet. They're supposed to scale with the ship sizes, but we haven't built that logic in. But anyway, this is the very first look at the ship explosion rework. Now, I've been showing white boxes of some of these ships for a while. This is a multi-role ship from concept artist Kruger, who's been working with us for a bit. In fact, I think this is his first ship that we've gotten into the game, and I absolutely love the design of this one. Thinking about calling it the Fennec, thanks to some suggestions online. The bulk of the modeling for this one was done by Johnny Popcorn, a little bit of extra work from Milkman, and then I did the material work for it, and it's just fun. It's a fun, different sized ship. I was going to have it be a size 1, but I actually think it fits a little bit closer into the size 2 category of somebody looking for a ship that can kind of do a whole bunch of stuff. Carry cargo, fight other ships. You know, it's like a sort of Millennium Falcon, if you will. Now, this ship here is going to be a size 1 multi-role ship. This might be something you upgrade to from your starter ship, where you're looking for something that can handle a little bit more combat. It's got 2 missile pods on there, 2 weapon hardpoints, 3 engines in the back for extra acceleration. I'm calling it the Jackal for now, sort of a jack of all trades type ship. I like the look of it. This one was designed by Kruger and modeled out by Milkman, and then a little bit of material work by me. I need to do some more decal work on this one and probably play with the materials a little bit more, but it's a fun shape. Now, this next ship here is something I'm calling a size 0. Basically something that probably won't ever be a main or primary flyable ship for the player unless there's some sort of special covert ops mission where you need to sneak behind enemy lines with a fighter or something. But these will basically be small NPC fighters that the enemy attack you with. Easy to defeat 1, but when they come in swarms, they should be able to overwhelm you. This was concepted out by Island, modeled by Milkman, and material work done by myself. Island also concepted out a medium fighter, which would have double the weapons and even a bespoke missile launcher, which we haven't set up yet. But this ship will basically be able to fire at least 1 volley of missiles at the player while they are on an attack run, and then they can followed up with 2 turrets instead of 1. These ones are actually a lot more pesky in game. And once again, this was modeled by Milkman and then material work done by myself. Both of these guys will be part of a bigger bad guy fleet that we are starting to build out. In the back there, you can see our size 6 battleship, and it's got some white box C-beam turrets on there that are based on an island design as well. That'll be fun to texture up and get working in game. Now, thanks to the hard work from John Lagostini, our technical artist who's been with us for quite a while working on various systems, we have a new settings menu where we can go in and set our frame rate, display resolution, VSync. You can turn on DLSS and FSR and all that fun stuff in there. This just got into the game. It's a work in progress. It's introduced a bunch of bugs, but it's been great to be able to test a lot of the effects and kind of adjust them in real time as we're playing the game and see the performance update and all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool, but we got a little ways to go with it still. Now, the other thing we've been working a lot on is our tutorial system. This is important for obviously teaching players how to play the game, but it's become sort of a focus for using Rich's new mission framework system. So if we can build the tutorial out, which requires generally more logic than most of the game, with his mission system, then the mission system should be good for building out just about anything we need with it. The tutorial's been cool to build. It's interesting building one because when we test it with people, they fail in all kinds of different ways, and then it teaches us about what we need to improve with the tutorial system and how to try and keep it from breaking. Tutorials are so much harder to make than I thought they were going to be, but it's cool. It really is interesting watching somebody go through it and seeing your game with different expectations or in a different light than you would expect them to. Now, Rich has really been putting in the time building out all kinds of features. One that has been so helpful are on-screen targeting brackets. We've had targeting brackets on the radar for quite a while, but the on-screen ones required a bit of different logic. As you can see here, it just obviously helps so much with knowing what ship you're firing at. Now, Rich put this together pretty quickly to help us just test out the system and see if we even like this type of bracket. It's basically a blueprint component that gets attached to our ship actors, and then we can size the bracket specifically for that ship and change its style and change the line thickness and all that kind of stuff and just play around with the look. Very good for quickly prototyping how we want it to be. Now, the other part of targeting brackets is overhauling some of our targeting logic. This is something that definitely needed to happen for a demo, and I'm going to let Rich explain how it all works.
We've made some progress on the targeting system for the player, but we still have some challenges to solve. Some are technical, some are design related, and some of the issues are both. Since there's only so many buttons on the gamepad, we have to get a little bit creative about how they're used in the targeting system. We want to be able to click something to target the nearest target, cycle through a list of targets. We want to be able to easily target the furthest away target. We also want to be able to cancel targeting and target nothing. So to do all this, we're able to use some combinations of controls like tapping the left bumper to select nearest. If you continue to tap it rapidly, it will cycle through from nearest to furthest. You can also tap the right bumper to cycle in a different way. If you tap both bumpers, it'll select nothing. If you hold the left bumper for a certain amount of time, then it brings up the jump point selection menu. So we've got tap the button in combination with another button, or hold the button down for a little while. Technically, getting all this to work is actually pretty tricky. On top of that, we think we want a radial selection menu for targeting as well. That might be the best way to be able to target something that's behind a bunch of other enemies. One of the technical issues is how to keep track of all this target data, keep track of what's targetable, be able to cycle through them in a way that you expect when you're playing. Keeping everything sorted by distance is actually not that tough, and it's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be. On this machine, it's only a few microseconds to sort everything, so we can do that pretty frequently.
So Rich has been behind a huge amount of the logic that we're talking about here. And one thing that he didn't mention that I want to make sure gets mentioned is we've started to work on some more AI logic, and that is aggravation, the range at which enemies detect you and attack you. We now have some basic logic in there for a signature size for the main player, which can actually increase based on if you're using boost engines or not, and there's going to be some other factors that affect your signature, both like what kind of components you put on your ship and stuff like that. So once your signature range crosses over into the range of the enemy AI, they will attack you. Now, currently, they don't tell their buddies to attack you, but that buddy logic is going to be one of the next things on the list, so that when you aggro a small fighter, he's going to bring all his friends with him, as long as they're within range. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today is something super cool. We have some new dynamic music that Peter Chambers wrote for our tutorial, but it works in a completely different way than our previous music system. So this is our bigger music player here. We've got basically, here's our main menu song. It just plays a single song file without too many or no modifiers really in that case. And this is our tutorial song here. It's got a bit more complex logic. So when I play it here, it triggers this main background score, which is about 3 minutes. And one of the cool things about this score is that it has cue points baked into the wave file. And so every time one of these cue points triggers, and it triggers on a specific beat, so it's all lined up with the beat of the song, it will trigger a random number generator. It picks a number between 0 and 100. If it's below 15, it'll trigger a melody. And these melodies play from an array of 9 different melodies. If it's above 85, it'll trigger a chord, one of 9 different chords. If it triggers below 15 and then right up after that above 85, it can actually play a melody and a chord at the same time. What this does is it gives us a 3-minute loop with completely random layers on top of it, but these layers trigger at proper times musically, so it doesn't sound quite as random. And I love the sound of it. It's really come together nicely. I stress tested it. I put this music player on and did like 90 minutes worth of UV unwrapping and model cleanup, and I enjoyed all 90 minutes of listening to this song, which essentially is running on a 3-minute loop in the background. So really cool what you can do with dynamic music in a video game like this. Peaceful, pleasant, enjoyable, and shout out for Peter for doing such an awesome job on designing the concept of this piece. So we've really been cranking the past several weeks, a bit of an internal crunch for us to get some demo goals met in time, but I couldn't be happier with the progress we've made. We're going to take our foot off the gas just a little bit after some of these demo things get wrapped up and maybe start hitting some performance optimization passes next. But I cannot wait to show you guys what we're working on for the next devlog. Things have been progressing at a really awesome rate. Again, if you guys want to support the project, you can wishlist us on Steam. There's a link for it in the video description. And we have a Discord as well if you want to follow us closer and see more regular updates for what we're working on and thinking about. As always, guys, thanks for watching. You can check out any of the other devlogs here. And I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.